Hey friends, welcome back to Dolony TV. Glad to have you aboard this afternoon. As just like that, in a matter of 24 hours, the conversation has shifted away from the shock and awe of a dual offer sheet from the St. Louis Blues for both Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway to what is now a situation in which the Oilers find themselves having to find some solutions, right? That's what they're trying to do, is find those solutions. We'll have more on that here in a moment, but I will encourage you right now, if you're new to the channel, I know I hit this hard yesterday, this morning, and the day before, but if you're new, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button here on the channel. We're only going to get busier here the rest of the summer into the fall, and if you like Oilers news, I think I do a pretty good job bringing that to you some days, so appreciate you having along for the ride. So, with that said, what do we know? Well, it's kind of a two-pronged approach. I think Patrick's video as well took some notes from both guys, Bob Stauffer and Elliot Friedman, talking about kind of some scenarios with the Oilers here over the past 24 hours and going into the next, I guess 60 hours, 48 hours, whatever it might take to get this offer sheet mess solved. A lot of yesterday's focus was on simply matching the offer sheets, keeping these guys. What do we have to shed? What do we have to do? What do we have to figure out? And I talked longer term, talking about trading Nurse and Kane down the road in the next 1, 2, 3 years to make all the math then work. If you were to retain those guys, I talked about that this morning, so you're free to check that out. But really, now you can also, now that the shock and awe is over, have a conversation. What if you don't match one? What if you don't match both? What can you do? And I think for the Oilers, matching one is not going to be too much of a problem. Obviously, Cody Ceci's name immediately comes up in that discussion, and we'll talk about that. But you talk maybe keeping Dylan Holloway, and then, well, okay, you keep Dylan Holloway. Maybe you don't even have to trade Cody Ceci. Right now, maybe the cap puzzle gets easier because that it's only 2.29 instead of 4.58 plus 2.29, right? That's an easier pill to swallow. And it's only really double of what we were going to offer Dylan anyway, or what we were hoping to offer him anyway. So no big deal there. Well, that's pretty simple. Well, Cody Ceci, as repeated again by Elliot Friedman, it's something we've heard a couple times this summer. There is a market for him. The Oilers can get a trade done if they want to get a trade done. And, well, okay, why? If you're retaining Dylan Holloway, that's the new premise we're working on today, on this day, Wednesday, August 14th. We're talking only retain Dylan Holloway. That's the best case scenario for the Edmonton Oilers. You let Broberg walk, and you get a second-round pick. So why would you want to trade Cody Ceci? Well, the Oilers, ultimately, this year, we're going to upgrade on Cody Ceci, whether it be in the top four using Broberg there. That was the plan anyway, up until yesterday. And then maybe trade him at the trade deadline for cap space and add a new guy that can upgrade the roster in a different way. That was also part of the plan. Well, now you need this cap compliancy thing, but you can also, knowing there's a market, get assets for him. And when Bob Stauffer stopped by Bryn Griffith's show on 6:30 Ched afternoons before getting going on Oilers Now this afternoon, it was floated an idea that I think first originated yesterday of the Oilers potentially taking advantage of the Calgary Flames fire sale that has been going on for the better part of the past, 8 months, in terms of their turf and everybody that's been a Flame for any duration of time in terms of Calgary hockey history, right? I think anything 2 years plus at this point, you're lucky to be there if you've been there longer than 2 years. And for the Oilers to maybe take advantage of that and use the asset gained in Broberg's offer sheet, the second-round pick, something I pitched yesterday as well, and then using whatever assets you get for Cody Ceci, and Broberg's contract's 4.5, you'd be sliding in somebody at 4.5 from the Flames or thereabout in Rasmus Andersson for all those assets. And now all of a sudden you've upgraded on Ceci to a degree. You've upgraded on Broberg for sure in terms of steady Eddie veteran presence who can deliver results on the right side instead of hoping that an untested full 2-year rookie in the NHL is capable of bringing home the results in the top four like he did in the playoffs. So that's kind of a theory there, right? Is the Oilers could go out there, and it's something I said yesterday, is you take the second round pick, and at the trade deadline, you use a first, second, and third to upgrade. Instead of having Cody Ceci in your top four, you go out there, trade Cody Ceci in that package, upgrade your top four, and roll along just fine using Stetcher and Brown as a platoon on the 6th right. Well, hey, you know what? If the Oilers can take advantage instead of our friends down here in the south of Alberta, take advantage of their fire sale, and there has been word that maybe they're going to cool down on that. That's, I think, what Bob Stauffer was mentioning too this afternoon, in addition to kind of this coming up yesterday. But would that not be something that, you turn a negative into a positive? Rasmus Andersson's got terms, same pretty much as Philip Broberg remaining on his contract. Like, you're getting a guy that's been there, done that with the Flames for quite a few years. There's something that could be said for doing that instead of matching Broberg. All you do is worry about Holloway, and away you go with this team kind of fitting a puzzle together somewhat similarly to what the original idea was going into the offseason under Jeff Jackson anyway. So I think it's really nifty that we've got that. And of course, you trade out Cody Ceci, whether it be now or later, because end of the day, if you get Rasmus Andersson, you don't really need Ceci to hold the top four down while Brown and Stetcher switch out on the right side on the third pair, and then you upgrade at the deadline. You can get the cap space now, you can sign Holloway, you can do all the things, and away you go. Very, very, very easy moves to be made mathematically, very, very easy moves to kind of solve a more complicated problem. Now that, of course, takes into consideration that the Flames would have to be willing to do that. Like I said, maybe they're cooling down. We haven't heard much out of Calgary. I will tell you, I listen to the Fan 960 quite regularly. It's the only radio station on the AM that talks sports that you can get in the work trucks. So you end up listening, and I mean, those Calgary Flames commentators, they really don't know what kind of year they're in for. It's a mishmash. And the Flames have a lot of young D that they are going to have to rotate through and find spots for. And I think one guy that, if I've listened correctly, I could be wrong, and I likely am wrong, Jeremy Poirier is a guy who's had some setbacks on his way to the NHL, but he's got nothing left to prove at the AHL level. And if he makes it out of camp, I mean, you got to find places for all these guys. And Rasmus Andersson is very easily a guy that, because he's been there 2+ years, and that's kind of been the motto in Calgary this past 8 months, you could, if you're the Oilers, if you're Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman, maybe pry him away for the right price. You're getting a free second-round pick. Flames love draft capital right now. Why not try and make it happen, right? So the Cody Ceci trade is one thing. That, of course, maybe if there's a bigger play you see happen. And if not, you know what? There you have it. Rasmus Andersson as well kind of comes in. You have a really solid defense, and then you make it super solid at the trade deadline. Away you go. So, friends, I'll leave that to you to discuss. Again, today, more of just discussion points, kind of thinking, thought exercises. That's what Dolany TV is good for. That's my sales pitch to you. For right now, though, I'm going to go play some ball in Crossfield. I am up on out of here.